Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We will begin shortly. We will be presenting on understanding your reassessment notice for Evanston Township. My name is Lupe, and I am here part of the Cook County Assessor's Office, and I will be providing this information for you. But first that we want to cover is that if you have any questions, please make sure that you are dropping them in the chat. And we can get them answered towards the end of our presentation. There's also someone in the chat from our team who will be answering questions as they come in. And then most importantly as well, make sure that you are sharing this with everyone that you see possible, with your friends, your neighbors, your family, whomever is near you, so that they can be aware of the reassessments that are happening in Evanston Township. So without further ado, hopefully you guys have your drinks ready. It is a beautiful day outside, so I will try to make this quick, but also make sure that you are learning everything that you need to know. So let's get started. So the very first thing that we want to do is meet the assessors. So this is the Cook County Assessor, Fritz Kagi. He is the one that sets the rules, not the rules, he sets the values on homes and provides us with those as property tax saving exemptions. So now let's go over a little bit over the responsibilities of the assessor's office. So the assessor's office, part of our role is setting fair and accurate values for 1.9 million properties in Cook County. That includes commercial, vacant lot, residential homes, condominiums, warehouses. All of those things are things that we put values on. And the values of those properties is not determined individually, but instead is using a mass appraisal system that looks at a general market data for the area. So again, we don't look at each individual home, but rather we look at sales over the last 3 years and kind of average them out throughout the township. The other thing that we do is that we administer property tax saving exemptions that may contribute to lowering your property tax bill. So that is something that we do offer. We have 9 exemptions in total, and I will slightly touch up on some of them towards the end of the presentation. The things that we don't do is that we don't set your tax rates, we don't set your levies, we don't mail out tax bills, nor do we decide the balance on your tax bill. All of these things are things that are decided by your municipalities and your taxing bodies. They're the ones that determine what those tax rates and what those levies are. Now, the Cook County Assessor's Office works a triennial reassessment cycle. So the Cook County reassesses 1/3 of the county's properties every year. So a property's reassessment year depends on the township in which the property is located. So during a property's reassessment year, an appeal can be filed within 30 business days after the reassessment notice is mailed. It's very important to know that Evanston has a deadline to file an appeal of May 21, 2025. So again, make sure that you are submitting those appeals way beforehand. Again, it's May 21st, 2025 is when you want to be submitting that appeal by. If I were you guys, I would be setting my reminder for a week from the 21st so that we are not one of those people that is trying to file at the very last minute. And so that can be sent in with time. The last time Evanston Township was reassessed was in 2022, and the market has been changing quite a bit. So let's talk about that a little bit. So on our website, we have these things that are called valuation reports. Valuation reports are reports over the values of your homes in Evanston Township. So this chart specifically here shows sales trends from 2021 to 2023. And again, it's the assessor's median estimated market values of all homes throughout Evanston. Currently in Evanston Township, single-family homes are being sold for $636,000, which is a bit of an increase from 2022% median. Condos are being sold for $265,000, and multifamily is being sold for $592,000. So this is an average of all the homes in Evanston Township and what they are averaging being sold on the market. The other thing that we want you guys to look at is looking at those valuation reports and looking at the nitty-gritty of your neighborhood code. The neighborhood code is something that can be found on your reassessment notice. But once you identify that neighborhood code, you can click on your neighborhood code on this interactive map, and you can compare those recent sales to the assessor's estimated property values. So for example, here we're seeing that there is a median single family sale price of $617,000 for this neighborhood code. And the assessor has been putting stuff at $635,000. On here, you can also pull lists of all the sales that were done within that neighborhood code. So you can see the highest and the lowest sale and how many homes were actually sold. So it's something that is very useful, especially if you're trying to determine if you should be filing an appeal or if you're trying to find those comparable properties. Now let's go over your reassessment notice. So all of you guys should have received something similar to this in the mail. If you haven't, please let our office know and we can send you a copy of that. But this is what it will look like. So it will read 2025 reassessment notice. This is not a bill. So again, this is an estimate of what your property value is. So the first thing that you will see on here is your PIN number. So make sure that that matches what you have in your records. The estimated fair market value, neighborhood code and property characteristics. So that's where you can find, again, that neighborhood code so you can see the sales within that area. The other thing that you're going to see is the assessed value history over the last 3 years. And of course, it's going to annotate the deadline for your township, which again is May 21st. And then if we flip it over, on the back side, we will see the exemption history that you have on your property. This is very, very important because it is one of the best ways to contribute to lowering your tax bill. You will have the homeowners, the senior freeze, the persons with disability. All of those exemptions are listed in the back, and it'll indicate it if you received it or not. If you have any exemptions that are missing, you can file for those for prior years. So make sure that you're submitting all that application in. You can find all of our eligibility for exemptions on our website under the exemptions tab. And then at the very bottom of that reassessment notice too is our contact information. So if you have any questions or any concerns about your assessment, you can always send us an email, connect with us on social media. There are multiple ways to get a hold of us. So now let's go over the common reasons a homeowner might want to file an appeal. So the most common reasons are lack of uniformity, overvaluation, and incorrect property description. So number one is lack of uniformity. Lack of uniformity is when there is a home similar to the one you own, where everything about it is the same, and it's being valued lower than yours. So for example, let's say I own a home in Evanston Township, and my home is a single family home. It's just me, myself, and I, and my home is being valued at $500,000. But my neighbor's home, that it has the same type of footage, it's made out of the same construction, everything about it is cookie cutter about our homes, but they're being assessed at $400,000. That would be a lack of uniformity, because if our homes have the same square footage, have the same type of construction, everything about it is the same, then they should be valued the same. So that is lack of uniformity. The second is overvaluation. Overvaluation is when you looked at that reassessment notice and you said, that is not how much my home is worth. If it were worth that much, I'll hand these over right now. So that is why a lot of people are probably here, and you feel like your home is being overvalued. And then the third reason is incorrect property description. So that is when there's something factually wrong about your home. So whether that is that we have the square footage incorrect, or maybe we have the wrong construction type. All of those things are things that can have an impact on the value of your home and should be corrected. reassessment appeal process again. So you should have received that reassessment notice. If you disagree with the estimated fair market value, you can file an appeal, but you must supply a reason. So you need to tell us why you are filing this appeal. Then the analyst will review any evidence to determine whether to change your property's assessed value. And then the analyst will make a decision about your appeal with either a decrease or a no change to the original assessed valuation. Currently, under our office, if you file an appeal, your property value won't increase. It will either stay the same or be reduced. A good rule of thumb is if the property characteristics on the notice are correct and the estimated market value is within 10% of what you think your home is worth, then it is unlikely that an appeal would change your property's assessed value enough to significantly affect your property tax bill. Filing an appeal with our office is really easy, and you can do it for free online. So you can do this by going to our website at cookcountyassessor.com/online appeals. Our online system will guide you filing. You can start a draft, save it, revise it, and submit it all from the comfort of your home. You can submit supporting documentation. And again, filing with our office is free. And as a reminder, again, Evanston Township is open until May 21st of 2025 to file an appeal. Now we're going to go over the steps on how to file that appeal. So we are first going to start off on our website at the Cook County Assessor. And we're going to click on the tab that reads Appeals, and we're going to click File Online. And then here, this is the page that it will lead you to. It's going to ask you to verify that your township is open, which in this case it is. And then if we scroll to the bottom, you will see these little blue tabs. You're going to be clicking on either residential or condo co-op. Now, if you have previously filed with our office, whether that is that you have filed an appeal before, or maybe you filed for your exemptions, or any missing exemptions, you likely already have an account. If you haven't, you can create one using your email address. Then we're going to click on Begin Filing. Then you're going to search for your property PIN. You're going to search for your property with your PIN or your address. Do not input both, as it can cause the system to freak out a little bit. So one or the other is fine. And then your name will appear down here. It is completely possible that the name on this box is someone that you don't recognize. It could be that we still have old information, but it is something that you can fix later on. Oops, I think I missed I went too fast, sorry. And then here's where you're going to click up on the agree to the terms and conditions of the appeal, saying that you are the one that is filing the appeal on the behalf for your home. You're going to verify the information here. This automatically populates, so you don't have to type anything here. You just click next. And then here is where you would file any certificate of error applications on there. Certificate of error application for an appeal is if there was something factually wrong about your home. This is an opportunity to fix it. So square footage or the construction type. That's when you can file this. You would not file this type of certificate of error just because you missed the deadline last year. So there has to be something factually wrong about your home. And then here's an opportunity to add additional pins. Some homes have adjacent lots to them. Some homes, strangely enough, fall right in the middle of two lots, so they have multiple pins. But if you have 2 pins or more, you can always submit. You can submit it on here. And then here is where we get to the information about you. So you are the taxpayer owner. You're going to select this from the drop down, whether you're the taxpayer owner, if you're the beneficiary of a trust, if you're a trustee, an executor, all that other stuff, you can submit it on there. And then you're going to click the little hamburger icon. So it's the 3 little lines in that first red arrow. And that'll give you a drop down of all the names that are registered under the property. Sometimes there's one, sometimes there's three, and sometimes there's even five. So you would select the one that pertains to you. If for some reason your name is still not on there, there is a little box which ends up being the second arrow on here where it says check this box if the owner taxpayer the correct owner name does not appear. So that gives you an opportunity to fill in that missing information and make sure that it's updated on our system. And then after that, it's just typing in your phone number and your email. And this is an opportunity to also sign up for our newsletter so that you can always be aware of the things that are happening within our office. This is the section property characteristics. So this is an opportunity to be able to update anything about your home. So whether it is the age, the type of construction, if you have two garages or one garage, or if you can only fit one car or two cars, if it has solar heating, if it has central air, all of that information can be updated here. And then here is an opportunity for you to tell us how much you think your home is worth. So if it isn't the value that we put on your reassessment notice, what value would you like it to be at? Or what do you think your home will sell for? And then, like I mentioned before, you need to provide us with a reason as to why you're filing this appeal, which three common ones, again, are lack of uniformity, overvaluation, and incorrect property description information. There are other reasons, like if the building is vacant, if there was fire damage, or if the building no longer exists. All of that is things that you can submit for an appeal. And then it'll ask you how the property is being used. Now, this is where we get to the real fun part of comparable properties. So comparable properties are a really good way to show your case for lack of uniformity. So finding those comparable properties is already integrated into our application. You can find those comparable properties and kind of compare them into the application to see which ones would be fitting for you. But there is a few things that you want to make sure that you are considering when you are finding these comparable properties. So when you're searching for these comparable properties, you want to find the closest properties to you. You want to make sure that they're made of the same construction, similar square footage, and have the same neighborhood code. So you want to stay really close to where you live in order to make a really good case for that. Now, if you find yourself short of time, don't worry, our analysts will run the comparables for you and find those properties for you so that you don't feel like you have to. This isn't a requirement, but it is something that a lot of people do like to look for on their own. Okay, now here is the attachment section. So this is a section where you can include anything you want us to know about your home. For many properties, an appeal narrative is very, very beneficial because it's an opportunity for you guys to tell us what you want us to know about your home. Whether that is that you haven't made any remodels in the last couple of years or hasn't been updated since 1992 when you purchased the home. You know, those are the types of things that can affect the value of your home. And it's something that we would like to know about that home specifically. You can submit pictures, if you got an appraisal done, or if you recently bought the home and can show us those closing documentation, you can submit that as well. And now here is where we're getting towards the end of the application. You're going to put your name, you're going to put your phone number, and you are going to click submit. And it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to submit this filing? In that case, you want to say yes or no. So whether you want to come back to it and add more documentation, or if you're completely done, you can do that as well. So once you're done, you're going to click yes. File appeal. So the confirmation, you will get this filing ID number, which I do suggest that you write down, as it is a good way to be able to keep track of your application. But if you created an account, you can always log back in and see where it is in the process. Appeal results are mailed to you, however. You will not receive an email or a notice via your email. It will be mailed to you at your front steps. If you win your appeal, your new value will be reflected on your second installment bill for 2026, not the one that we are going to get soon. It'll be on the second installment for 2026, because again, this is for 2025 tax year, which we don't pay until next year. We always pay property taxes 1 year in the rear. But there is a lot of information on our website, so you can check your property exemption history, appeal history, assessment history, and read about those reassessments and all those valuation reports that I was speaking about beforehand. But again, one of the things that our office does is provide these property tax savings, which are known as exemptions. So we have technically 9 now exemptions that are available to homeowners, and the most common ones are the homeowner's exemption. So the homeowner exemption is given to homeowners who reside in their home and own their home. You get that just for living and owning your home. The other most common ones are the senior exemption that starts at 65, and the senior freeze, which is for those who are 65 and older and have a household income of $65,000 or less. But of course, we have other ones for veterans with disabilities, returning veterans, persons with disability. We even now have a World War II exemption. But all of that information can be found on the website along with the eligibility for each exemption. Please also note that exemption deductions only appear on the second installment property tax bill, which is your yellow one, and you will see it on the tax calculator on the bottom left-hand corner of your tax bill. Now, if you're wondering where your money goes with these taxes, the Cook County Treasurer's Office now gives you a breakdown on where your money goes and notates the changes of your taxing districts. So again, your taxing districts and your taxing levies are set by the municipalities that you live in. It is not something that the assessor's office control, but it is something that can affect your tax bill. So if the tax rate is going up, then that can change the amount that you pay on your tax bill. But of course, we are always here to help. You can contact us, you can call us at the number. You can connect with us on social media. We're on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. We're on YouTube as well. Or you can make an appointment for in-person assistance at one of our locations. We are in Chicago downtown, Markham Courthouse, Skokie, and in Bridgeview as well. And again, we do highly encourage you guys to sign up to receive email updates from our office. This is the best way to get information about our office and any new changes that come about from the assessor's office. So there's a lot of ways to connect with us. We also randomly do pop-ups as well, whether that is with your local elected officials or ones that we set up so that you can get that assistance in person. We are going to have a event on May 5th in the Robert Crown Center, Community Center. So you guys can schedule an appointment and come visit us there as well if you require assistance. So if there are any other, I see some questions on here that I'm gonna answer right now. So let me go back up. So Mike says, how likely is it that a personally filed appeal will be approved? Well, Mike, that really depends on the type of documentation that you're providing with us for your reasoning for an appeal. The most important thing is that you give us something to hang our hat on. You need to provide us with that information as to why you're filing that appeal, whether it's for lack of uniformity or with overvaluation. All that information will help us, especially that narrative. There is no difference between what can do for you and what you can do for yourself online. There is no direct correlation with the success rates there. And then, hold on, I'm trying to find them. There was a follow-up question. Is it worth to use a lawyer for my appeal? That seems really expensive. Again, you do not need a lawyer to file an appeal. I know a lot of people get those notices in the mail about file with us, and if we save you something, we'll just get a cut of it, or if we don't save you anything, then you don't have to pay anything. Those are very, very common. But again, there isn't anything different that the lawyer is doing that you can't do while filing online. Darius says, a single family home does 45% more than last year, but the market for these increased 21%, not 45%. How come the reassessment increased so much? So that's a really good question. It is important to note that the reassessment is an accumulation over the last 3 years. So that value that you're seeing from one year to another isn't necessarily 1 year to another. It's the accumulation of the last 3 years. So that can be a little bit of a shock when you see it. But other things to consider is the market around there. So spend some time on Zillow, spend some time on Redfin, and see what homes are being sold for. What is it that people are selling for? And that's where those valuation reports are also really important, because you can look exactly at the numbers that we looked at to determine the value of your home. But of course, we don't always get it right. There are some times where there are outliers. Maybe your home just hasn't been updated in a long time, or you don't think that it is worth that because it hasn't been updated in a long time, or if the homes around you are being bought out, remodeled, and then sold for higher prices, which does tend to happen in certain areas. But a lot of the thing when it comes to real estate, it's location. People want to live in Evanston. They want to be part of the neighborhood. So it creates a demand for living in there as well. But again, all of that information about that data is on our valuation reports on our website. And then Legos said, neighborhood code, what does that mean? So your neighborhood code can be found on your reassessment notice or on our website. So they will show you exactly where your home is located, and that neighborhood code is what you should be using to find those comparable properties. Liebe, can I receive by mail more information about the senior freeze? It's for my parents. So again, all of that information can be found on our website. But for the senior freeze, I can go over a little bit. I saw that Michelle, who is the wonderful team member that is with me on this today, answered some of those questions on the back end. But the senior freeze eligibility is that you needed to be born in 1959 or prior, have a total adjusted gross income of no more than $65,000 for 2023, either own the property or have a legal, equitable, or leasehold interest in the property on January 1st, 2023 and 2024, be responsible for the property taxes in 2023 and 2024, and occupy the property as a principal place of residence on January 1st, 2023 and January 1st, 2024. So if your parents were eligible for this at any point between I think 2020 to 2023 now, 2024, you can still apply for that missing exemption. You just have to be able to provide the documentation. The application is available online right now so that you can fill that out. You will need to submit that income and an ID for your parents. And then after that, that one requires to be renewed every year, but we send out paperwork to those households that are eligible to renew them. There are other exemptions like the homeowners and the senior, those automatically renew. Once you've initially, they will continue to be applied to your property tax bill. I don't see any other questions. Oh, you're very welcome. We're happy to be here to be providing this information for you. But I don't see any other questions on here. So there are no more questions. Then I will leave you guys to enjoy the rest of this beautiful sunny day. If you decide later that you had like a question pops up in the middle of the night, you can still drop your comments in your questions in the comment section, and someone from our office will reply to those. Again, we will be available for in-person assistance on May 5th at the Robert Crown Center. You can find that sign up for assistance on our website. If you go under outreach events, you will see it on there and you can sign up. And we also have other ones that are going to be occurring throughout Evanston, so that you can sign up. Your township, sorry, you guys don't have a township assistant, but there is someone in Evanston that can assist you as well. So that is another great resource. But again, we're always here to help. If any other questions come up, make sure that you drop them in the comments and we will get back to you. And share this video with everyone that you know. It is going to be saved on Facebook and on YouTube so that you can come back to it, and make sure that you're following all your steps. Thank you so much for being here with us.